So hello everyone. This is the fourth lecture in the series of OPD and labor room instruments. And in this lecture, I'm going to cover a very important instrument, that is dilator, Karman's cannula, manual vacuum aspirator, uterine and bladder sound, and uterine curette. Remember that these all instruments are very important, whether we talk of practical or whether we are going to do some procedure in our own setup later on. So we need to know each and every point regarding these instruments. So this is the instrument known as cervical dilator. There are many types of cervical dilators available, but the most common one which you use all over the world is the Hagas dilator. As you can see, I have shown many dilators. These are all of a similar type. These are Hagas dilator, and these are made up of stainless steel and having a smooth solid rod with a curve at both the ends, right? With a curve at both the ends, and different sizes are available from 1 to 26 number, and each side is of different number. Supposingly this side is 7 number, then it will be a 8 number, and this number is written out here. The size difference between the either side is around 0.5 to 1 mm. Just to show you this instrument, this is the number written over it, and this is a smooth solid rod with a curved ends, and you have to hold in a pen holding manner. Supposingly this is a cervical os and you introduce in a pen holding manner, you don't have to go beyond the internal os, and you don't have to be going like this. You have to be very gentle and don't try to reach up till fundus. Just negotiate the internal os to dilate the internal os. Whenever we are going to do a dilatation, first step is always to hold the cervical anterior lip, and this anterior lip is being held with the help of a valsellum or tenaculum, and the traction is applied over that tenaculum so that this straightens the cervical canal, or it straightens the curve between the uterus and the cervix, which helps in negotiating the internal os. Second thing is, for easy dilatation, you can always use some lubricator like jelly also. But remember that don't use the jelly if you are going to do the hysteroscopy, because this jelly will stuck up over the lens and hampers the vision. And how much dilatation is needed in any procedure, that depends upon the procedure, number one thing. And if you are doing a MTP, then the dilatation is similar to the number of size the uterus you are feeling. Supposingly it is a 10-week size uterus, so you have to dilate it till 10 weeks. And the Karman cannula is used most of the times either same size or one number less than it. One number less than helps in the easy negotiation and easy movement of the Karman's cannula to and fro, right? So this is all about the Hagas dilator. The another thing is, the common question being asked in the exam is, what are the indications of dilatation of the cervix? So as I told you in previous lectures also, always divide the indications into obstetrical indications and a gynecological indication. In obstetrical indications, prior to first trimester medical termination of pregnancy, molar evacuation, retrograde dilatation during hysterotomy, and to treat postpartum leukemia and cervical stenosis, right? And in gynecological indications, whenever you are doing endometrial curettage, before hysteroscopy, Manchester surgery, removal of IUCD, so many times these patients may need dilatation beforehand. A very favorite question of the examiner is, tell me the indications of only cervical dilatation. So indications of only cervical dilatation, we are not going to do a curettage, is lochiometra, collection of lochia inside the uterus in the postpartum period. Pyometra, collection of pus, very commonly occurs in a postpartum state and in the postmenopausal females. Hematometra, before insertion of radium needles in irradiation, because the cervical os is already stenosed. Primary dysmenorrhea, because it is due to the constricted os, so we dilate it, and dilatation is done till the number 14. And remember that These patients later on can complain of cervical incompetence when we dilate till number 14. Another very important indication of only dilatation is for the diagnosis of incompetent DOS. So there are two tests, inverse Palmer test and a Shirodkar test. In inverse Palmer test, actually both the tests are almost same. Whenever we pass a number 8 dilator, it passes without any resistance in a non-pregnant uterus. And routinely, when you pass in the this thing dilator through the internal loss, there is an opening snap when you pass the number 8 dilator. But when in a Shirodkar test, then when you pass this number 8 dilator, there occurs no opening snap, so it is known as a Shirodkar test. Another indications are prior to conization or cervical amputation, we do the dilatation so as to prevent later on the fibrosis, stenosis due to fibrosis. What are the complications which can occur due to it? Perforation. Perforation occurs generally when you do it in a wrong manner and you try to reach till the fundus. Cervical injury, infections, if you don't use all disinfection, sterilization procedures, incompetence, stenosis, and bleeding. These are the few other dilators which I have just put in so that if any case you get to know, get in your exams, you can easily identify. So this is a Pratt dilator, this is a Hank dilator, and this is a Hawkin-Ambler's dilator, right? So regarding Pratt dilator, this Pratt dilator and Hank dilator are looking almost similar, but they are thinner. And in Pratt dilator, size is measured in the French, same as a Hagar, but it is half graduated. There is a difference of 0.5 mm. And French, I told you, just to make you remember, 1 French is equal to 0.3 mm. And difference between the two sides, is 0.5 mm. And it has got a longer and a tapered tip. Hank is also almost same as a Hagar, but size difference is again 0.5 mm, and more gradual dilatation can be done with it, and it is less curved. As you can see, it appears to be slightly thinner, and because of the difference between the two sides of 0.5 mm, thus it appears to be same size. Then comes the Hawkins-Ambler dilator. This is very important. It is a single-ended, comes in a set of 16, start from 3 to 6 and end at 18 to 21. Dilating portion is within the terminal 1.5 mm, 1.5 centimeter with a difference of 3 mm in the diameter near the tip and the maximum portion of the dilator. So this was all about the dilators. Then we move forwards and see this.
So if you want to prepare your clinical viva, you can take a course on mechanism of labor, where 5 video lectures are there. You can take a surgical instruments, 10 video lectures, and you can take a quick exam revision of table viva. It will be very beneficial if you take these 3 along with the long and short clinical cases, where 24 discussion are there, which will be helpful for all of you to prepare for the examination. Thank you.